What up, yo? Tis I, Littyyy Bro Flacko. My co-host right here, the homie Holden Stephan Roy. Holden, say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
Word up. And we are the perspectives. I don't know. We still saying it's a pod? I don't like the pod part. Perspectives. This is our
We
show.
just we just we
Perspectives.
just do perspectives. That's what it is.
Perspectives. My fault. I've been gone for like a couple weeks. I've been
That's true.
out in the world, just letting all my responsibilities fall by the wayside. Today we have a special guest, Staten Island battle rap legend, team homie general, uh, polo aficionado, and general all around on time responsible human being with us, Peace God. Peace God.
Peace, God. Peace, God. Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, thank you for having me. Yo, Dub, man. Always, baby. We here.
Word. Big facts. Shouts out to EO Dub, the platform that we are presently on EO Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to the end of the week. Family. Always been family. Family for a very long time. I guess that's what family, technically speaking, is. Anyway. Yo,
Isn't it
Peace
though?
God. Welcome, yo. It's so good to have you, bro. Uh the way we usually start out the show, right? Like I explain to people because like a majority of y'all are all like guests that are like friends of mine. So like I'm doing this show and I'm doing it with this guy over here to my left. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
Right? And most people are like, who the fuck is this guy? The ones that know me, you know what I'm saying? They're like, who the fuck is this guy? So like I like to walk through like where like the origin story and shit, you know what I'm saying? And how the show came about and whatnot. And so like when I started doing the Littyyy Bros project with bro Jess, right? Um with Littyyy Bro Figaro, we were looking into getting out of our box of like people that we, Jess is an engineer. So he could have engineered the whole project himself, you know what I mean? But I was like, bro, I want you to focus on being a rapper. Fuck like being an engineer. And like I hit up the homie Merker Miyagi on Facebook and other social medias, but really Merker Studios, right? And like I had met him when I was in Montreal. And well, I had met him before then. But then when I went to Montreal, we linked up. You know what I mean? You know how we always get down. We knock on people's doors. You know what I'm saying? So I linked up with the homie and I heard some of his work, and I was like, "Yo, he got a good ear. Let's have him engineer the project." So he engineers the project, and he might as well be a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Because like he doesn't ever promote the artists that he like engineers because he's like, "Nah, fam, you trash. And if I promote one of y'all, then I gotta promote all y'all." You know what I'm saying? So he never promotes the shit that he like works on, but he promoted our shit, and that caught Holden over here's attention, right? And so Holden's like, hold on, I follow this guy, and he doesn't ever promote any of the shit that he works on. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's like promoting these guys, and he's promoting them like favorably. He's like, yo, if I was in New York, like I want to get Liddy with the Littyyy Bros type of vibes. You know what I'm saying? So that makes
Right.
Holden be like, who's this guy? So he looks into me. You know what I mean? And then he checks out the shit, and he's doing album reviews and shit besides making music of his own. And so he was like, yo, want to do an album? No, he does an album review. Then he's like, I'm like, yo, we should do an interview. And he was like, funny you should mention that. I was going to ask you, we should do an interview. And then I did the interview, bro. And I swear to God, I felt like I went to fucking therapy because I fucking talked about a bunch of shit on camera that like I've never talked about, like, which is just like my life growing up, which is like so weird that we're like artists and we never talk about shit like that. It's always like the latest event that we did, maybe, or like the last battle we had, or like the battle we're gonna have. But it's never like about you and your life and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like
Sure.
immediately, typical New Yorker that I fucking am, right? Like I'm like, hey, I just stumbled upon a dope thing. I'm gonna fucking like put everybody else that I know onto this dope thing. So I was like, yo, you know what? We should do a show together. And I'm gonna introduce you to my friends, and you can talk to them. You know what I mean? And ask them about their lives. And then I find out about my friends, things about my friends that I didn't ever know because we don't ever talk about our fucking personal lives with each other. We're just always like, like gangs or some shit. Like we just talk about like surface level shit. How's the family doing? How, you know what I mean? Like which is just like, it's not surface level to us. It's what really matters to us, right? But it's also like, hey, but what about your past, bro? But also, like, I think that with us, the way that we come up, like, that almost feels like narc shit. So that's why we don't ever talk about shit like that.
That's true.
We don't ever, like, be inquiring and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
but this is a great, fantastic way to, like
Flacco said, no, I'm saying, like, 18 times in that little segment.
18
and while
times.
I do know what he's saying, most often when y'all drop that I'm saying, I'm like, no, sir. I do not know what you are saying. I'm from Montreal. It does not make any sense to me what you just said.
yo, shouts to Montreal. Shouts to Jess James.
Shouts to Montreal. Shouts to Figaro.
I love that dude, bro.
Love him. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? He's one of my day ones in this. You know what I'm saying? Where I, come into the whole EO dub, you know what I'm saying, grind time, era, the late 2000s, you know what I'm saying, when, when I met all of y'all around the same time, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? And Just James is one of those guys that, you know what I mean, that, embraced me into the whole fold. So,
yeah.
Oh, we definitely cover that.
Pretty funny and ironic that me and my brother are the like two of the people that like initially just, you know what I mean, take to very well. Yeah, we'll talk about that more. But so that is where the show came from, you know what I mean? And so like Holden likes to have his question. He knows what he's gonna ask you, right? But I like figured out that something that we should talk about before we get to all that, after I do that long-winded intro, right? Is that you should tell the people like who you are, what you're known as, and where are you from, and then where are your parents from?
All right. So, okay. You want to do it in bullet points, or you? No,
yeah.
Just like.
Actually, yeah.
So, my name is Peace God. I'm from Staten Island, New York. You know what I'm saying? Mariners Harbor, New Brighton. You know what I'm saying? Those be my projects. My old battle rap name was Scream, SCREEM. You know what I'm saying? Ton of footage up on YouTube. Grind Time Now, I Battle, Face Off Battle League, the Draft League, of course. You know what I'm saying? The Mighty Draft League. Disconnect this phone. I ain't taking no calls. It's all about y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? Staten Island, New York. I started battling on YouTube. 2008. I'd done, around the hood battles, going back
we're gonna go through. So we're gonna go through all of that. What's really important is that y'all start off in Staten Island, and that's where
Staten Island. So I'm half Puerto Rican.
So that's a great one.
Half Puerto Rican, half black. You know what I'm saying? My father's black, my mom's Puerto Rican. Right. You know what I'm saying? I've been around. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty solid. You know what I'm saying, in my streets. Staten Island. I'm not, gonna, pat myself on the back too hard, but I got a lot of friends, man. I made a lot of connections out there. I'm proud.
I think that's what we told the people about being like Staten Island legend. You know what I mean? Like the people we did that for you.
And so Holden, right there.
Start.
All right, so I got my token opening question. It's a bit of a story. It's important, the Staten Island part, because otherwise it has no frame of reference. And just keep in mind when you answer it that everybody around the world might hear your answer, so we don't know what it's like to grow up in Staten Island. But it starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes one time, and she's got her phone playing, and it's that Black Eyed Peas song, I got a feeling, ooh. She's vibing, and she's dancing, and she's doing her thing, right? And I'm looking at her while she's doing this, and I'm going, when the fuck did this song become chores music, right? Because, this song used to be, back in the daytimes, that club banger. You'd be out in the middle of the night, super drunk. You came on, everybody's turning up. 10 years or so goes by. And now this is a song that we put on, maybe it's in traffic, maybe we do an exercise, maybe it's chores. But it's a song almost to bring us back to these times in life, because as the time has gone on, the song hasn't changed at all, but the context that surrounds the songs has evolved so much that we have put it into this new category as we have entered all these different ventures due to age, which got me thinking about the little 20-year-olds and how they're turning up to all this stuff. Now, I have no idea that this is going to be their chores music. And they also have no idea that what they're listening to is our chores music right now. Like, people are turning up to whatever the fuck they're listening to while washing dishes. And that's a wild thought to me. And the reason I think about that is because music has this like evolutionary component as our lives like change, and it kind of moves with us. And like Flacko touched on a bit earlier, when we think about our own musical journeys and the way that we approach our careers and stuff, so often it starts in this like adolescent era. Like, yo, my first favorite rapper was this, or I started writing at this age, and it's usually like 12. And it's like all this kind of stuff like that. And all the interviews reinforce that. But if you really think about life, right? There's a good chance that you were born in a hospital or some shit, and there was music playing in the room, and already you were absorbing some vibes and whatnot. And as we were little, there's so much that impacts us. Like, I can remember being like 5 years old, right? And they got these gray boxes in the apartment. My daddy's got the tape decks, the amps, the fucking radio thing, the fucking wires going to all these different speakers and shit. And he would be busting his Led Zeppelin tapes and shit during the daytimes. At night, we had that club music straight from the clubs of Montreal bumping through over the radios. My mom, she was more into discos and musicals and love songs and all that kind of crap. But either way, all of this was going on. I'm like 5, 8 years old. All this shit, I have no control over the music, but I'm still listening to all the music. It's still influencing me. It's still impacting me. And then my whole thing picks on. So with all that, I was hoping you could bring us back to the youngest Peace God that you could remember being, and tell us a little bit about what it sounded like to be you, the vibes and energies of the youngest ages you can remember.
Well, all right. Well, the first rap song I probably fell in love with is probably going to be I'm Bad by LL Cool J. And you heard, you know what I'm saying, there was other rap, like rap wasn't, there was no form to it. Back then, was this 86, 87? You got a couple of rap songs. Hip hop was not on the radio until after 9 o'clock.
Right.
I think everything else is, pretty much R&B, slow jams. And I don't think people do a lot of slow jams no more. But, it was a lot of R&B, 98.7, 107.5, R&B, disco shit, which was before that. Then, hip-hop gets on the scene. And, that's young people's music at the time. So naturally, we all, kind of gravitated to that. But the memorable song I fell in love with was I'm Bad by LL Cool J. I'll put Littyyy Dotty as a close second, though.
And like, how old are you when you discovered this?
I was probably about 8 years old. I was in second grade.
That's wild.
What about your parents? What were they playing in the house?
So like, if you run it back like before you discovered that.
My father was like a lot of he liked a lot of R&B. I think they both enjoyed a lot of R&B. Your Tina Marie's. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of soul and
R&B
a lot of music, like a lot of old soul and R&B music. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not mad. Like my parents did a lot of like Latin music, but then when we were in the car, it was always like, the stations that played those joints, like Pat Benatar's and the fucking and the like Melissa Morgan's and the like, just that R&B station. I think it was WBLS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Phyllis Hyman. You know what I'm saying? Roberta Flack. You know what I'm saying? Gerald Pepsi Riley's and you know what I mean? You had Gerald a lot
Pepsi Riley, yeah.
Next thing you know, they're mixing it up with the hip hop generation. Now you got your Full Forces and your Lisa, you know what I'm saying, and Cult Jam and Samantha Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like
Lisa and Cult Jam. Now you do not look at the sis Danny over there, like she's like, yeah, Lisa and the Cult Jam. I feel like all women that grew up in New York City fucking loved Lisa and the Cult Jam, by the way.
I'm not like, my man alive. I don't think I've ever heard that name one time in my life.
You should look them up because they got hits. Like they got like They got some like real hits of the era and shit.
Sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure you heard of Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. Like,
Yes.
they were blossoming back around that time too.
Yes.
I think that's more of like a polish, a universal. It's the same love, right? On an urban level is Lisa and the Cult Jam. But, uh, America wise, the whole Latino community, I guess, would kind of draw themselves to a Gloria Estefan.
Gloria Estefan, yeah. But like for specifically the New York community, the like Lisa was kind of like she was the Gloria Estefan, I guess is what Peace God is saying. She's like the Gloria Estefan of like New York City, and like definitely women love Lisa and the Cult Jam.
That would blossom into a Brenda K. Starr or a Lizette Millette. And now you're working into your 90s and stuff like that. So, but that's basically it. Like there was not a lot of variety. There was not a lot of hip hop variety.
I mean, it's not even just hip hop, right? Because like at the end of the day, it's still your life and your story and the stuff that you experienced, right? And a lot of times, like most people, now younger people grow up with hip hop from the time, but like most people I talk to above, let's say the age of 28, did not have hip hop until they were older, right? It wasn't normal to have like hip hop, especially if you're a kid, because parents were cognizant of the lyrical content. So it's like, when you were young though, were you into like singing, dancing, drawing, that kind of stuff? Like, did you have any hobbies or anything like that?
Nah, I was more into sports when I was little. I was able to, just kind of keep up with dancing, as far as what the trends were. All of your WAPs and, the Roger Rabbits and all that, madness. But when it was time to kind of like, I'm not a merengue guy, but I'm a bachata guy. And it's not, that's not music that I grew up on. I just kind of learned how to, dance because I think it was a necessity. It was just, it was easy to pick up on because all of the older folks were able to do it. Break dancing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about fundamental break dancing. I'm not doing, windmills and, spins on my head, but pop locking and you know what I'm saying? Your basic scrambles and all of that stuff, I can do that for sure.
That's wild. And that, because you're growing up at a point when that would have been more like in the streets happening, quite literally, right?
Yeah.
Yo, what's that like?
In the streets, with dancing?
Like when you're growing up in this whole vibe of hip hop, right? And not everyone, and especially with the time frame that you're describing, that's like super inception points back when the way it's been described to me, it was just the thing you did. And that's wild to me.
I'll tell you this, you know what I'm saying? In the early 80s, you got people outside. You know what I'm saying? Outside. Everybody in the hood is chilling. People know each other. I'll tell your father means something to you. Yeah. Like, but when 84 hit, crack hit. And it's just a 180 on how, you know what I'm saying, how the streets were. Everything just became dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
How educated you are that you know angles.
I don't mean to sound cliche when I say it, but 180, I messed the angle up. No. I appreciate that you're educated and you do know angles. Usually people say I did a 360 and it's like you meant a 180, not a 360, sir.
Yeah.
A 360 would have landed you right back where you started.
The beginning.
Exactly. But you know what I'm saying? 83, everybody's outside, all of the things that I had mentioned before. Once 84 comes around and, crack hits the community, it just gets dark. You know what I'm saying? You only associate with your friends when you're in school. You're not outside like that. And my parents just try to kind of keep me into sports to, just kind of stay ahead of the curve and, be able to manage who my friends were and, just kind of keep an eye on things.
What sports?
Yeah. I'm a baseball, soccer.
Ooh, you played baseball too. is lit.
Yep, I played base. Yep, absolutely. Second base catcher, a little bit of that, but mostly second base catcher.
I played fucking right field. You could play. That means that you were righty. You caught with your right, like uh or you caught with your left. You threw with your right, which most people do. And because I was a lefty and threw with my left and caught with my right, I would always like there would only be one glove. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, I wanted to play. I wanted to play first base so bad, but you know, the teams that I were on preferred lefties. You know what I'm saying? Because able to field, you know what I'm saying? They're able to field that area better, and then still have the mobility to get back to first base and make the play at first. So, you know, that I'm not. I really haven't kept up on that's something that they do now, or if it's something that they've managed around. But I wanted first base, and
so
you know,
bad.
for like 3 years, I tried to get it, couldn't get it. They, you know, put lefties on there, and it's not just one guy who was good at first base. They tried to, you know what I mean? They managed keeping lefties on first base.
Fact.
What are you gonna do, right?
What you gonna do? So baseball. You said some soccer. What else?
Basketball. For sure.
Basketball.
And my father was my coach until I was about, 10 years old. And you know, then I would move up and he would just stay with the 10 and under league and, you know, manage my brother and my sister. Oh, happy. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Those are the three sports, you know, that I played. So around 88, I would then move to South Jersey over by Philly, a suburb called Willingboro. You know, and I would live there until about 92. And look, now you take 88 to 92. So the music now, you know, things are changing. You got video music box. People are getting cable TV. So now you're able to just kind of dip into
MTV exists.
MTV, VH1, when VH1 played music, right? But now you're having a little bit more variety. Hip hop is on the radio in the daytime. You know what I'm saying? So now all of us, you know, around our age group, we are in hip hop at ground level, more or less, right? It's not just something that was a party before and now you got to go back to R&B. You know, our generation of hip hop was more ground level. You know what I'm saying? And we watched them kind of grow into what it's gonna become. You know, so from 88 to 92, still with the sports, all of that stuff. But, you know, my parents are still working in New York and, you know, to pay for the house they bought in Jersey. So I got no supervision down there, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of left to figure it out on my own. And I just gotten into all types of fucking, you know, craziness, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as school goes, as far as messing around with girls, as far as, you know, doing little crimes and shit like that, you know, is bad. Not being supervised.
You started to be a typical young guy in New York City.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's what happens at that age, for all of us.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
No, I mean, I would say, for a lot of people, yeah, it's definitely what happens. I don't know. I didn't happen. No, I mean, I got into trouble. Different degrees. Yeah, even small crimes. Nah, shoplifting was a real thing. Now that I think, everybody. I think everybody does it.
Yeah, everybody does it when they reach that age, you know?
Yeah.
You're a young man, you know what I mean? You start fucking feeling yourself a little bit, start testing the limits of all sorts of things. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of typical, you know?
And still relying on the fact that you're still a minor. Nobody can really, like, you know, put hands on you like that. And, you know, people don't want the headache. You know what I'm saying? You know, give me my shit back and, you know, get the fuck up out of here. That's pretty much it.
But, you know, that's what happens in life when then we get older.